thoughts, opinions, and general overall shade thrown on High at 9 News are those of the individual speakers and not those of High at 9 News, its audience, or its advertisers. The statements made do not constitute medical, legal, or financial advice, and for advice tailored to your specific situation, please consult with a licensed professional. Welcome to the High at 9 News Hour, where you will hear from cannabis industry experts and professionals from around the country talk about important topics while shining light on global issues and discussing cannabis as it relates to politics, regulation and reform, data and technology, science, research and medicine, family and parenting, art, celebrities and entertainment, fitness, sports, mental health and wellness, and plant-based medicines and entheogenics. Together, we are building a stronger community, fighting the stigma and creating change. With your hosts, Jason Beck and Rico Lamitte, joined by special industry expert correspondents from around the country, and daily antics brought to you by Cannabis. Coming to you live every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time and high noon on the East Coast. And thank you all for getting high at 9 with us.
Out. Slept like 13 hours straight, 14.
Oh, yeah. Good morning, everybody. That's right. It is Thursday, February 22nd, and today is National Supermarket Employee Day. I don't know if we're supposed to secure the bag or whatnot in regards with that, but nonetheless, it's also National California Day. Shout out to California. National Chili Day. National, oh, Rico, this is for you, bro. This is so for you. It's National Cook a Sweet Potato Day.
Oh, warms my heart.
Yeah, that's right. And that's right. It wouldn't be National Sweet Potato Day without it also being National Margarita Day. Thank you for joining us and getting high at 9 with us. It's also high noon on the East Coast. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe to us on all social media platforms. You can look down below on your screen to see exactly where we live on the internet. And we are live every Monday through Friday on YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and on our very own website at www.highat9news.com. But kicking it off first, it's the man with no sleep. Because he's got nothing but sleepy seeds still in his eyes, and you can look if you got a high-definition TV. That's right, it is the dope dad himself, Mr. Rico Lamitte. Yeah. Yeah, sorry, Rico. We have no applause. Sorry today. There we go. There we go. Someone got it. Yeah.
Give this a clap. Yeah, I'm a little...
They got the golf clap for you.
I am over. All right, so...
All right.
Thank you, Jason. South Dakota just took a big step forward in the state's fight against synthetics. For those unfamiliar with pop politics in the Mount Rushmore state, cannabis was actually fully legalized by ballot initiative back in 2020. However, the will of the people was quickly silenced by Governor Kristi Noem, who's been in the news more recently as a potential VP pick heading into this year's final season of The Apprentice. Noem believes that the people of South Dakota were tricked into believing whatever they thought weed was good for, and as the state's mother, it was her duty to make sure the devil's lettuce remained in the cupboard, locked up, and out of her constituents' reach. Medical cannabis actually passed in South Dakota back in July 2021, but it's remained since then one of the hardest states to gain medical access. The result? Trap sales and shady Delta 8 dealers have been killing it. But D8's run may not last much longer. South Dakota Senate Health and Human Services Committee passed HB 1125 yesterday, a bill aimed to make the sale of chemically altered hemp products illegal. Per Dakota News Now's Cody Dennis, the bill was introduced at the end of January, addressing psychoactive variants of CBD. Since then, the bill has been amended 3 times, with each iteration widening the scope of products impacted to any altered hemp that is not a topical treatment. During Wednesday's committee meeting, Senator Brent Hoffman, one of the bill's sponsors, took to the floor to defend the bill, saying this: "They've become very prevalent, known by different names even. Come in colored fancy packaging, are sold at gas stations, shops, and marketed statewide. These products are a serious health threat." Representative Brian Mulder, another sponsor, brought in what he called experts to testify the safety of the products, citing deaths related to Delta 8, 9, 10, and 10 THC. Local business owners, on the other hand, are vocalizing their opposition to HB 1125, calling the bill nothing more than modernized reefer madness. Caleb Rose, co-owner of Black Hill CBD, said that he believes legislation will open the door to more CBD restrictions in the future. Every person that's producing a CBD product has to have the product tested by a DEA registered lab. So right here, I have bins that all contain COAs. A customer can come in and I can show them that this product is indeed a hemp product. But along with those labs comes all the heavy metals that aren't in it. Everything else, it shows you that this product is clean and has been produced by responsible players in the market. Rose also emphasized that the bill's amendments only impact businesses, not consumers. All of these products that they're worried about protecting us from will still be available online, but the shops will still be made criminals. Consumers will still be able to get them because they're still legal at federal level, but brick and mortars will be punished for even carrying them. Makes you think. Now that it's passed its first big test in the House, HB 1125 will be headed to South Dakota Senate state floor for a vote. And I'm not a fan of any of these hemp-derived synthetics in the least. I tried Delta 8 one time in my life in Austin, Texas, at a high-end South by Southwest rooftop party with Hyatt 9's very own Stone Slade. True story. We were both immediately disappointed in the lack of expected effect, given what others previously and said at said event told us would happen. We then proceeded to roll our own joints with real weed in them, high potency weed, in fact, hoping to forget the shame we had just subjected ourselves to. We're never getting those 5 minutes back, and to this day, I still regret it, Stone. But in the states where you openly and actively suppress the will of the people, shit like this will happen. Cannabis is medicine, and it has been recognized as such now by countless accredited studies. States like South Dakota and Texas need to either open up legal regulated markets so folks can get access to clean, safe products, or it's just going to be more of the same. The trap always wins. My name is Rico Lamitte, the dopest dad on the street for I9 News. What y'all think about South Dakota?
Man, South Dakota. I mean, I'm not too surprised in this. I mean, they are the state that the voters passed a medical cannabis law, and then all of a sudden, Governor Christie Noem quickly reversed.
Legal. They legalized. They legalized. It was not medical. Medical passed in 2021. They fully.
Oh, you're right. You're right. My bad. They did vote in adult use, and then the governor said, whoa, we are not enacting this, and we are not going to abide by the will of the people. We're going to do what I'm saying because I'm the queen bee here. That's what happened.
Yep. That's your girl, Christy Noem. Jason, your girl.
Yeah, I think no. That's not my girl. That's not my girl, and she would be a terrible vice presidential pick by the president.
She's not going to be the vice presidential pick because even though you see a lot of her on the news and you see her appearing a lot for the cameras, it's her trying to play herself up. There are a lot of people hiking up their skirts for Donald Trump's attention currently right now. No disrespect to her and no pun intended, but I'm just mean, in terms of people trying to, Tim Scott and other people trying to show that, that they're willing and ready to serve. I think that this again shows that there is on both sides. This isn't just a one-side thing. On both sides, there is an inability to listen to the people. So whether it's about trying to have safe streets and secure borders, or whether it's about trying to treat adults like adults and allowing adults to make adult decisions. Right now, yeah, all I'm trying to say is that both sides are dropping the ball. Republicans or conservatives or whatever you want to call them at this particular point are dropping the ball in terms of trying to tell adults what they can and can't do, and not listening to the voice of the people. And then you have people on the other side who will use cannabis as a way to attack people on one side, knowing that they don't intend to do anything about it either. I think that this is just another shell game, and the person who wins will be the trap. And the reason why I believe that this is really significant for South Dakota is because I believe that police officers have a great deal of influence there. And again, the smell of marijuana, using that in order to go into someone's car is priceless, and they're not willing to give it up.
That part is so true. There's a big thing similar to this going on out in Florida right now, where the Florida legislature is looking to ban all hemp-derived products and make it so that you only can buy any type of cannabis product in an actual licensed store. And this sounds like this is the same thing that they're basically are trying to do in South Dakota.
California's already done that same thing. California has already passed legislation which requires COAs and that you grow and produce outside the state in certain ways. And they have brought everything that's an isomer of THC, call it what you will. They all have to go through licensed cannabis retail stores. So they're trying to capture all this. And the problem is they're still treating it like it's, depleted uranium. And people want to use this. And when you smoke the other products, it's like what we used to do when we smoke hemp. It's like, what the fuck is this? Okay. What you want
It's like a pixie stick. It's like smoking Blue Dream.
Yeah. But you want to encourage people to try full Delta-9 THC. Okay, that's where you want it to be. And right now, because
unprotected sex with the guns.
They bought these big, kettles, and they took CBD and converted it to Delta-9. It's like, well, because you can, because they haven't told you that particular product strictly against the law. It's like, these are all games being played. Let people fucking smoke pot, get out of their way, or the trap will just continue to suck resources from law enforcement. What
were you saying? Exactly. What were you saying, Stone?
Oh man, I was just gonna jump in and just say that I hate Kristi Noem. Can't stand her. Can't stand any politician that's gonna take away the will of the people. I'm with her on this. I'm 100% with her. They're taking away something that should never have been. They never should have allowed hemp to jump the line to beat cannabis. To legalization. I like it. It's get that shit off the streets. I mean, the whole point of not legalizing in states like Texas and South Dakota is because it's potentially dangerous. But you're allowing people to make something that is dangerous. It's not tested over centuries within the human body. Get it off the streets, man. I hate it. And hey, Rico Lamitte. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So
I'm just saying, with an absence of cannabis legalized in its place, you can't just make this illegal too. You're just taking away everything from the people. Like, you're just criminalizing everybody. You're criminalizing these business owners now. They're trying to make a living. You're criminalizing all the people trying to get medicine too. How about you provide legal access first, and then you make this shit illegal? That's what I think.
We are fortunate. We are fortunate enough today to have Rachelle Gordon with us, who happens to be an Emerald Cup alternative cannabinoid judge, which all of these products would fall under. Rachelle, what do you think about this? Are you going to go to South Dakota and try out your Emerald Cup judges kit?
I am a proponent for hemp-derived products when they're done right. There is that caveat. I don't necessarily agree with this HHC stuff that you see, the THCO, right? Some of that stuff is, in my opinion, garbage. But, when it comes to South Dakota, even if they try to ban this stuff, they can just drive to their neighbors and buy it or get it online. Like, people are going to get Delta 8 and THCA regardless of what the government says. We all know that.
Yeah, but
especially when they could just order it online.
But if it ain't Delta 9,
there.
It's like kissing your sister. Okay, come on, stop it. Promote Delta-9. Let's be the natural product. This shit might be in there, a couple molecules per plant, and we can all bring it forward and reproduce it. Fuck that. Grow weed and smoke it. What the hell's wrong with that? Stop all this nonsense.
Yep. I heard that. And on that, we're going to go to a commercial. We're going to be right back.
Free Delta.
Oh man, that was weird. Hey, you America. Do I look like Sean Connery? Good morning, America. Saman Razani coming to you live from sunny Los Angeles, California with the one and only highest host, Mr. Jason Beck, smoking on the best weed in the world. Did you know that we have an audio-only version of our podcast? You can find it on Apple, Google, Amazon, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. No excuses in 2024. If you haven't checked us out, check it out now. And also, check out what the Prophet's doing in 2024.
Want it, they're going to buy it.
He's the cannabis industry's very own Kaiser Brose. known for smoking the best weed in the world. And he's an avid supporter of the latest season of The Apprentice we're seeing on a national stage going on right now. Who's going to get that?
Oh, yeah.
Jason Beck coming to the stage. Come on.
Probably
golf claps.
No, there's some contenders up there, Rico. But I'll tell you what, who is really contending? Man, oh man, oh man, there's a double set of lawsuits, Dale. I can't wait to hear what you have to say about this. Now, this is a little bit longer article, so I apologize, but man, there's so much juice in here, you guys. It's just super juicy. Cookies sued again by cannabis retail partner in a $100 million dispute, you guys. That's right. Leading cannabis brand Cookies is in a wielding legal dispute with its partner in dozens of adult use marijuana stores. Cookies Retail LLC alleged in a lawsuit filed in California Superior Court in Orange County last month that Cookies breached California franchise law, made misrepresentations, and caused not less than $100 million in damages, court records show. This industry entity that the public knows as Cookies is a network of legally distinct companies. Some of those operations, including San Francisco Bay Area-based Cookies SF, are associated with Gilbert Malam Jr., the brand's co-founder and social media personality who is known as Burner. Also, such as Newport Beach, California-based Cookies Retail are independently owned companies that, according to court records, signed agreements with Milan's companies to open Cookies branded retail stores. Cookies retail principal is Brandon Johnson, a former real estate professional who is also the co-founder and CEO of TRP, a cannabis cultivation, manufacturing, and distribution company that operates marijuana stores under other brands in 14 states. According to the January 12th lawsuit filed in California Superior Court in Orange County, Johnson and Cookies Retail signed licensing agreements with Burner's businesses beginning in January of 2020 that would allow Johnson and his companies to open Cookies branded marijuana stores in California, Colorado, Florida, Massachusetts, Oklahoma, and Oregon. To do so, Johnson's Cookie Retail invested over $100 million, the suit alleges. Since then, according to the lawsuit, Cookies Retail has discovered countless lies and blatant misrepresentations made by defendants about their businesses, including the profitability of Cookies stores, the cost to open each store, and defendants' illegal self-dealing. Well, I bet you they pulled that out of the Forbes ad, but I don't know. The suit alleges violation of state and federal franchise laws and fraudulent misrepresentations and claims at least $100 million in damages, the amount Cookies Retail alleges it invested in 33 Cookies branded stores it opened across the country. The suit filed by Cookies Retail names as defendants Cookies Creative Consulting and Promotions LLC, Cookies Creative Consulting and Promotions Incorporated, Cookies SF, Cookies Creative PT, Cookies Creative Productions and Consulting Incorporated, Binger Biz with 2 Z's, Lemonade, Mesh Brands, and 1212 Ventures. The suit also names Cookies executives Malam, Matt Barron, Parker Burling, and Ian Habenchet, and breeder Lesajai Personet Sik Chang, and who is credited with developing the company's proprietary genetics. Through a spokesperson, Malam's Cookies declined to comment to MJ Biz Daily about legal proceedings. Johnson and Cookies Retail did not respond to MJ Biz Daily's request to comment, and San Diego-based attorney Thomas O'Connell, Cookies Retail counsel of record in the case, also declined to comment. But there's a second lawsuit, you guys. That's right, it's a double banger. The Orange County lawsuit was filed shortly before Cookies Retail sued Malam's Cookies in New York. The New York suit alleges that Cookies violated an agreement that would offer Cookies Retail exclusive rights to Cookies' iconic intellectual property, including strain names as well as the brand's signature C logo. At the center of that dispute is a corner storefront in Manhattan's Herald Square, where the adult-use marijuana store called Culture House opened for business earlier this month. According to the New York suit, that store, operated by an individual who won one of the state's conditional adult-use retail dispensary licenses, is using trademarks in violation of exclusive rights that Cookies signed over to Cookies Retail. These recent lawsuits are separate from other pending actions brought against cookies last summer by company investors, and the investors suit claims Milan and other cookies executives, including Burling, used investor cash to finance personal expenses. One of those suits claimed cookies burned through $23 million investment round last year and ran out of money before Wiley missing its numbers. That led to the company failing to support a $275 million valuation, the investor suit alleges. The California suit alleges that cookies intentionally failed to register as a franchise as defined by state and federal law in order to evade certain disclosure requirements, and licensures market their intellectual property for a fee but generally do not involve themselves in a business day-to-day decisions. Under a franchise agreement, one party exercises significant control over the other, and in the Orange County suit, Cookies Retail alleges that Milan and other Cookies principals meddled in nearly every aspect of the plaintiff's business operations, from hiring employees to marketing to inventory. For example, the suit alleges that Milan's Cookies controlled every detail of grand openings, including guest lists, what music would play, and what security guards would be hired. Milan's Cookies also forced Cookies Retail to purchase clothing merchandise above fair market value and to buy more Cookies branded cannabis product, which had to be grossly marked down in order to sell, according to the suit. In quotes, ultimately, the lawsuit turns on whether Cookies is a franchisee or whether it is merely licenses its trademark to other parties, said California-based attorney and cannabis industry business consultant Hirsch Jane, who reviewed the filings at MJ Biz Daily's request. In the allegations, if the allegations are true and Cookies took control over aspect of business operation, it would be difficult to make the case that this was merely a licensing agreement between the two parties, Jane added. When disputes arose, Cookies principals threatened Cookies Retail with physical violence, forced Cookies Retail to purchase Cookies products that it never ordered, withheld product or flooded surrounding markets with product, and bullied Cookies Retail with threats to prevent stores from opening, the Orange County suit alleges. And in quotes, had plaintiff been aware of the information or the true nature of the parties' relationship prior to January 21st, 2020, it would have never entered into any agreements with defendants, let alone invested over $100 million into its own Cookies branded stores, the suit alleges. Meanwhile, Cookies empire continues to expand. The grand opening of Cookies Melrose, an adult-use cannabis store in West Los Angeles, is scheduled for Saturday, and the original Cookies location on Melrose, which was operated by Los Angeles based owners and not Johnson or Cookies Retail, according to state records, closed last fall in a landlord dispute. Meanwhile, Culture House, the Manhattan marijuana store at the center of New York's lawsuit, celebrated its grand opening on February 11th with employees decked out in Cookies branded gear and the store covered in Cookies colors. Culture House's social media posts promised top spenders a chance to meet Burner in NYC. Whether that infringes on previous agreements is up for the courts to decide, and I can't wait to hear what y'all have to say about this double whammy. And this is Jason Beck for the High at 9 News. What do y'all think? Look at that smirk, Dale. I see it all over your face.
Well, I have been asked to help put together what I would call conglomerates before, where they have a name and they want to get their name out there and make money off of it, license it out. And then the question is, what kind of control do you want to have over the entity using your name, colors, where things are situated, their merchandise, all this stuff. And if you're going to be an MSO, which Cookies looks like that's what they're trying to be, there are also state and federal laws which fall into, okay, we're going to franchise you out, which means you take our name and here's some restrictions and things that we all live by, or you just do a licensing agreement where you get to use our products and you have different levels of control. And I can just tell you, these are messes. These are absolute messes. Because in the industry, we set up separate companies for every license holder just because 280E and state licensing authorities can come in and close. One company owns 20 licenses. They can go after one company and close down 20 licenses. Maybe one license has a problem. So we separate them out. You would never do this if you were thinking about setting up a real business. But you got to go around your elbow to get to your thumb because of the bullshit in the industry and governmental policies. And now someone's going, oh, you lied to me. Oh, really? People in business don't lie to each other. Grow up. Okay, now we're going to have to figure out how this works, and I don't think anybody has the answer yet. And we'll watch the pissing match as it evolves here.
I think that if Cookies is really worried,
I don't remember the last time we even heard a positive story with Cookie's name in it, unfortunately.
I think if Cookies is really worried, they would get ahead of it. And I think because of the clout that they currently have, because of the name, branding, and done in hip hop, I think that the nonchalant and I don't kind of care attitude is going to continue to show itself.
Hot take.
Yeah.
I think Burner should go full Donald Trump on this and just start attacking all of the attackers.
Are you saying he should come out? Are you saying he should come out with some Cookie shoes and sell them for $420 a pair?
They don't already have them. I don't know.
They need to be having a PR meeting. The people that are being involved in these suits need to be having serious PR meetings. How do we get ahead of this? What are we going to do? Because this does hit the brand if there's any truth to what they're claiming. And they probably need to reevaluate some of what they're doing and make sure marketing plans work with the people you're working with. Because these kind of lawsuits, I mean, the type of money we're talking about here is, could ruin a lot of people. $100 million. I mean, I don't think Donald Trump could pull it out of his pocket. But this is big time money. You need to get ahead of it.
It's not chump change.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah, that's not chump change. That's for sure. And fun fact in the chat.
Strong with the people. I mean, you saw all of their latest store openings, like the one at Culture House in NYC. There's lines still around the block and still craziness going around all these openings. So I don't know, man.
I don't know. They say James of Flatbush says Rico, hell no, it's for tourists and custies, he says.
Oh man.
Oh man, straight from the streets of New York. Yes. I mean, in all fairness, there's plenty of custies in New York. There's no shortage of custies. I mean, it is the Florida of the North, technically.
Mm-hmm. Your casual cannabis consumer loves them some cookies.
What?
Yeah.
No one in New York cares about going
to
cookies. No one in New York cares about going to cookies. No one in New York cares about Burner. No one in New York cares about their merch. You can go to the guy who's standing in front of the corner store, and he's probably going to have better weed than you're going to find inside a Cookies location. No one in New York cares about cookies.
Speaking of finding better weed at a Cookies location, Justin Benson is in the chat, and he says he was just at the Cookies in Thailand, and he said they have way better than all the cookie stores out here in California. What do you? Oh, look! I see the eyebrow raised, Rachelle. I saw that.
I'm
not touching that one.
They need to make it stronger in Thailand. So they need to make it stronger. They need to make it stronger in Thailand so you can deal with the lady boys.
Oh
man! Oh boy!
I said it. I said it.
What'd you have to say? What'd you have to say, Rachelle?
I mean, I'm kind of surprised to hear that, but I can't really speak about the weed in Thailand. But I think that's really saying something, unless they're just getting it shipped over from North America, which I hear happens, but I don't know.
Yeah, they make ties happen. The Emerald Triangle.
There's plenty of California logos on all the weed over in Thailand, and it's going to continue to be. Yeah.
Yep,
going forward.
Exactly. The trap is gonna survive. That is for sure. We're gonna keep this train rolling. This is one big hot mess, and we're definitely not gonna unpack this whole thing all today. But we're gonna keep this train rolling. We're gonna roll right in to Mr. Attorney at Law, Mr. Dale Schafer. He's the founder of Armada Law Practice, and at one point in time, he did some time for a cannabis crime. That's right. It's none other than attorney Mr. Dale Schafer.
Hey, good morning, everybody out here on the West Coast, and good afternoon in New York, where you're buying maybe shitty weed. I don't know. I have a sad tale today about trying to get in and build out and operate in the cannabis industry and having to deal with knuckleheads and bureaucracies. Comes out of Detroit, and anybody who's ever tried to set up one of these facilities knows that when they pass these laws and local regulations, they tend to declare zones where you can have businesses, and they declare certain sites to be protected, or so you measure from that site, and you can't have a cannabis business within some particular distance. We've all had to deal with that shit. I always took people out, just scour the neighborhoods, make sure we're far enough away from one of these protected sites before you invest in going forward with the project. Okay, so Detroit, 4 companies came together and applied for and apparently were granted the first phase of a conditional use permit, open up a cultivation and a processing facility. And there's a 1,000-foot setback from, we call them sensitive zones. They call them drug-free zones around schools, daycares, churches, places we don't want kids to ever hear about where marijuana, except they buy it in the bathroom at junior high. Another story. Okay, so it turns out that when they did their due diligence, no schools popped up. They're not supposed to be in the zones. You drive around, nothing looked like a school. Even the county drove around, looked around, didn't know there was a fucking school 800 feet away from this place. So they're 1.9 million into the build out, and the city of Detroit goes, hang on for a second, we found a school, and now we're declaring your facility in a drug-free zone. So we're going to stop the project, pull all your permits, and you're done. Okay. And I have not had this particular situation happen to my clients, but similar stuff to this. And it's bureaucratic negligence at its height. And so what these 4 business owners did, they ran into court and said, hey, we need to stop this because you're going to kill us, irreparable harm, if you will, if you allow them to revoke our license. We're going to lose 1.9. We're going to go under. We actually have a $15 million bump in the value of the property. So there's a lot of things invested here. We're not operational yet, no revenue. And the city told them to pound sand. We're revoking it. They went into court, and now they're in federal court. And I don't know all the details of how it went from state court to federal court. That's too geeky for this story. But they're in federal court, and what they're asking the court to do is to put a halt on the revocation to allow them to status quo to continue to build out, and then a declaration that this is a taking of their property without due process under the 14th Amendment. Now, my partner, James Anthony, loves to get in the middle of this shit because he cut his teeth as a governmental lawyer, and when he sees the government's doing stupid stuff and overreaching, he loves to sue them. So as this builds out, we will discuss this a little bit more. But if you're going to get into the cannabis industry, I think this is the cautionary tale. You've got to do your due diligence. You've got to make sure that you have escape clauses in case the government changes its mind. You don't get your permits. These people went out and bought real estate, on good faith that we were in a zone that's going to be allowed, and now they're asking the court to use what we call equitable principles. It's called estoppel, to stop the government. We have taken so many steps towards getting this facility up. It's not fair to stop us now. We didn't do anything wrong. You all fucked up. We're 800 feet from this, and it should be 1,000. Come on, give them a waiver. Okay, but you really can't hang your hat on that as a strategy. Okay, and out in California, we have NIMBYs every step of the way. Holy shit, it's just unbelievable. Every time you pull a permit and start doing something, someone's out protesting, doesn't want it to happen. It's too close to my house. My kids are going to see it, for God's sakes. The school bus passes by, whatever the hell it is. These businesses require a lot of planning, a lot of due diligence, and you've got to protect yourself every way you can to be able to jump out of a business with the least amount of damage if the government gets schizophrenic and changes its mind. Because you really can't count on the government recognizing what you've put into this business as a property right that they're going to protect. And that's where all the stuff, Jason, you set up these businesses, it's a 1-year permit or it's renewable every year. And if you don't get it renewed, tough shit,
Yep.
You can't get anything back. That's where they lead. You have to sign hold harmless, indemnification clauses, attorney fees clauses, waiver of rights, every damn thing you think of to protect the government from stupid shit like this, okay? So I'm not real hopeful. And it's tragic for me because I've seen people put so much into projects where the government just goes, we changed our mind. What are you going to do, okay? And my partner, James Anthony, has taken on some of these government entities and got them to settle and change their mind. And so we'll see for the industry growing out there, pay close attention to this and, have a plan, because this may not go well for these people. I'd throw it back at you. What do you guys think about this?
Dale, I've said it, many times before, and I'll say it again. The cannabis industry for early movers is like buying a luxury vehicle right off the lot. You're going to take all the hits, got to deal with all the recalls, and somebody's going to buy that bitch for pennies on the dollar from you and get a CPO warranty when they come in that second wave. So I feel bad for these folks, but that's the risk you take being an early mover in this business on the legal side.
Yeah. Well, I've given the analogy to some clients I have who have scratch in their pocket. That you're like the vulture sitting on the edge of the canyon, and you're watching an animal down there bleed out. Okay, and it's a horrible analogy, but it's true. You sweep in, they've put all the money in, they've, all the heartbreak, all the hair pulling out, all that indigestion, and they lost their ass, and now they're trying to get out of this thing with whatever they can. You can pick them up for literally pennies on the dollar, but then you got the debt problems and issues that we've talked about before. These businesses tend to have borrowed money, and they owe money to people, and now everybody wants to get paid back, and there just isn't enough value there. So this is a mess. Mm-hmm. This is not an easy thing, and it requires, a lot of antacids and a lot of plan and a sugar daddy, basically.
No, you know what this sounds like. This sounds a lot.
Sugar mama.
And
sugar mama. Shout out to the sugar mamas.
Oh yeah, we love us some sugar mamas. That's for sure. Shout out to the.
And it would break my back and probably explode my heart, but go ahead.
I mean, Dale. I'm not sure if you saw it, but to me, this sounds a lot similar to what New York is doing in regards with Trump. Because they're making it very unattainable for people to invest in real estate to be able to build out these facilities when they're coming up with these types of situations. Am I somewhat correct in this?
No, you're not. This is nothing like Trump.
Well,
at all.
Okay. From the standpoint,
I just want to say this. Wait, real quick. I just want to say this.
Well, no. Hold on. I want to hear what Dale has to say about this.
But see, what this is not an industry that's been up and running and doing things for a minute in ways that nobody gave a shit about, like, lying about values of properties and bullshit. Like, nobody really seemed to give a shit about that. This is a nascent industry, okay? And you're coming into it, and the government's now seeming to exercise its discretion against you, okay? And that discretion takes away all your rights. So there are differences here, and, Trump's been in business for a long time, and they went after him for things that, he's claiming everybody does, and I don't have a disagreement with him. So in our industry, you better have a plan, and again, you better have a sugar daddy to help pay for all this kind of shit until you actually get up and operational and producing some revenue.
Or a sugar mama. Go ahead.
I'm open, but again, I've been 3-time loser at marriage, so I'm not looking for anybody, but if you want to throw money in my trunk and I'm happy to take it.
I'm with it. Make sure it's a Louis bag, right, Dale? Go for it, Tony.
Yeah, or a good knockoff.
I want to say something. Donald Trump is not in power, and Donald Trump has nothing to do. Donald Trump has nothing to do with scheduling marijuana. Either indirectly or directly, Rico mentioned Donald Trump 5 times. I've never heard him once mention Joe Biden. I've never heard him once mention Joe Biden in the border. I've never heard him once mention Joe Biden and not remembering anything, or can't come up the stairs, or being involved in money laundering and human sex trafficking. So all I'm saying is I don't put any innuendos out there, and I could do this all day long, and no one will be able to refute what I'm saying. I just left that man's house on Friday, and I watched someone who was fined over $350 million for something that the banks valued. Because once he valued the property, the banks come see, when you are a businessman and you own stuff, when I say that my house is worth $1 million, the bank comes and appraises my property, and they say, you're wrong or you're right. And they'll say, you're right, we'll give you this loan based on the contingency of our appraisal. Or you're wrong based on the contingency of our appraisal. But not once have I heard someone mention Joe Biden's name. I've been keeping count. I'm just saying that.
All right, and on that, we're going to go to a commercial, and we're going to be right back. I'm Jason Beck, and this is Smoky Vanilla. And if you want to feel as good as I look, then you need to get yourself a Stretch and Smoke with Smoky Vanilla.
That's right, baby. I'm Smoky Vanilla with my background in kinesiology. I'm a sports massage therapist and stretch coach. I focus mostly on athletes who have chronic pain or injury due to their sport, or the legends of the chronic in the game, baby.
Oh, yeah, you know what it is. We just stretched, and now we're gonna smoke, because you know what it is.
That's right. I love intuitively creating a session based on the individual I'm working with. We'll go through a few assessments, look at the past health history, injury, or anything that's still affecting you today, and create a customized session just for you. Let's go.
You're taking
hold
a
on,
chance on
Tony,
yourself.
we're back. Tony, we're back. Stop whatever you're doing. Make sure you hit that like button, and also make sure you subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed already. And all of the articles that we cover on today's show, you can read directly on our website at www.highat9news.com. And I do have to make one special quick note for you guys. Big news. The Women's Cannabis Awards that is going to be in March. Two of our correspondent women are up for award. Miss Dale Sky Jones is nominated for Lifetime Achievement Award, and our very own Rachelle Gordon is nominated for, Community Cultivate. So shout out to Rachelle Gordon. Make sure you head over to the Women's Cannabis Award website and make sure you vote for Rachelle and for Dale. And thank you very much.
Get ready for the 20-year anniversary celebration of the Emerald Cup. The Emerald Cup will be held at the Henry J. Kaiser Center for the Arts in downtown Oakland, May 4th and 5th. Get your tickets now for best pricing. Cannabis categories include flower, pre-rolls, solventless concentrates, solvent concentrates, cartridges, edibles, topicals, tinctures, and alternative cannabinoids. So enter early for your chance to be a winner at the 20-year anniversary Emerald Cup competition.
Rachelle, do Tony.
For it. You're back, Rico.
I said you do Rachelle, I'll do Tony.
Okay, you're gonna have me go right now. Okay, all right, perfect. Coming up next, that's right, it's a woman on the show today, Miss Rachelle Gordon. She's the editor at Green State Magazine, and she loves to share all of her articles, and we love when she's here too. That's right, it's none other than Rachelle Gordon.
Thank you so much, Jason, everybody. Thank you so much for the plug on the Women's Canna Awards. It's a great organization. It's going to be a lot of fun in LA on March 30th. I hope to see some of you guys there. My story this week comes from my colleague, Kara Wheatstock, over at Green State, and it's a great follow-up to the article from last week on cannabis and pregnancy. And this is a more all-encompassing piece. It's a little bit long, so I'm going to try to jump around a bit. But thank you so much to Kara for covering this. And I know I came in a little hot last week, so hopefully this can tone things down a little bit. So this comes from Kara at Green State. Interest in cannabis is at an all-time high, with stigmas breaking down in recent years, and pregnant people have taken notice. Studies have indicated that weed in pregnancy is becoming more prevalent, and more people are choosing the plant over traditional doctor-prescribed prescriptions. However, the verdict on risk of consuming during gestation is still out. But still, many pregnant people turn to cannabis for nausea, stress, insomnia, acid reflux, and pain. And there is growing research on weed in pregnancy, though nothing definitive. Because of this, it's a toss-up whether a prenatal doctor or midwife would support cannabis consumption during gestation. Support or not, people are definitely consuming cannabis while pregnant. For example, artist and consultant Alexa Jesse is currently pregnant with her first child. She abstained from cannabis for the first 2 months of pregnancy, but in a moment of severe pregnancy-related discomfort, she tried a tiny hit. Now she consumes intuitively based on stress, anxiety, and discomfort, which equates to a few times a month, shifting out of smoking into low-dose CBD-rich edibles in the later months. Quote, "For my body and my babies, I feel much more comfortable consuming cannabis versus pharmaceuticals and don't feel there is a risk with the low amounts I'm consuming," Jesse shared. "If anything, I feel I'm benefiting my body and my baby by getting more restful sleep, reducing my cortisol levels naturally, plus all the beneficial compounds contained in the plant," unquote. Jesse makes a valid point. A stressed pregnancy negatively impacts a growing baby. Intense stress can lead to high blood pressure, which increases the chances of preterm labor or low birth weight. If life without cannabis as a stress-relieving tool becomes unmanageable, there might still be negative fetal impact despite absentation. Despite many parents speaking out about safely using cannabinoid products while pregnant, most doctors recommend steering patients away from the plant for other options. Dr. Christine Greaves, an obstetrician, gynecologist, and expert contributor to Drug Watch, acknowledged the increase in cannabis use among pregnant patients, but doesn't necessarily recommend it. Quote, there is a need for more studies on this to make conclusions, but given that there is not much information, I recommend stopping cannabis use during pregnancy in case there are long-term implications for the fetus, Dr. Greaves said to Green State. And while there aren't studies putting a period on whether or not it's safe to consume cannabis while pregnant, there is relevant research. For example, many who support cannabis for birthing parents often cite the same 1991 study from Jamaica as proof that it's safe. The long-form study checked in with 59 consuming mothers 1, 3, and 30 days after the babies were born, and again at ages 4 and 5. The children's health was weighed against those with non-consuming mothers of a similar age and social status. Turns out, the data showed no significant differences in newborns in each cohort. By ages 4 and 5, things like home life and school attendance were more indicative of behavior. While the data is compelling, the study is now over 30 years old. And solid weed pregnancy data is slow to be collected because there's too much risk in testing drugs on pregnant people. While few research are apt to study humans, some data has been collected from pregnant rats, providing insight into exactly how cannabis impacts a fetus. One such study showed that consuming high quantities of cannabis while pregnant can max out endocannabinoid receptors in the GI tract of the fetus. Ironically, CB1 receptor is not one that's maxed out. This is an interesting find, but scientists require more research before understanding what it means for post and pre-birth development. Another rodent study found that garnered sex results. Male rats were given 3 to 30 milligrams of CBD powder daily while in gestation and developed a higher possibility for lower heart function in the first month of life. Based on that study, it's possible that ingesting CBD during pregnancy may alter fetal cardiac endocannabinoid systems. But when it comes to human research on cannabis during pregnancy, most data is self-reported through surveys or doctor visits. The Norwegian mother and child cohort study gathered data about consumption from over 10,000 pregnant parents. Of these, 272 used cannabis while pregnant, with 63 continuing use into the second half of gestation. The study is relevant because it signaled that prolonged use of the plant may create more adverse birth outcomes, like reduced birth weight. Low birth weight is one of the most cited risks of eating or inhaling weed while pregnant. With that in mind, some doctors remain against the topic, while others see space for medical consumption. So I'm going to skip ahead now a little bit and just point out the fact that she talked about the legal aspects, which we talked about last time, especially when it comes to talking to your doctor. Telling a doctor about cannabis consumption while pregnant may lead to the involvement of Child Protective Services in some states or with certain providers. Due to medical racism, the risk is higher for people of color. Drug tests are protocol for prenatal intake appointments. Testing positive for cannabis at the first appointment can shape care for the rest of pregnancy, sometimes carrying over to birthing and postpartum care. In prohibition states and some states where marijuana is legal, babies are also tested for drugs after birth. When a baby tests positive for cannabinoids, parents are sometimes reported to CPS. Because of these circumstances, many of whom may be interested in weed during pregnancy abstain completely or quit in the last trimester. So while there's no proof that cannabis is safe to consume while pregnant, the true risk is slowly being uncovered by research and anecdotal evidence. This mosaic of cannabis and pregnancy among mothers in the industry echoes a bigger picture. The choice to consume cannabis, antidepressants, or nothing during pregnancy is personal. It doesn't look the same for everyone, and that goes for patients and doctors. And whether a birthing parent chooses to consume cannabis or not, it is vital to have a doctor, midwife, doula, partner, and or care team that is supportive and non-judgmental. Remember, stress can have a negative impact on a baby. If a prenatal doctor doesn't feel right, explore other options. And if conscious cannabis for relief does feel right, find an open-minded doctor to speak with about it. So I'm curious what you guys think. It kind of goes back to what we talked about last week about whether we're viewing cannabis as a medicine or as a substance that we're consuming recreationally. And that seems to be the key here. What do you guys think?
Horseshit.
This is
all horseshit.
It's horse. It's all horseshit.
Nobody. See, Molly and I. Molly's a physician. Okay, we dealt with these issues with the DEA and the state agencies and how they control medicine, and from the Pure Food and Drug Act of development, all these testing standards for drugs. Then after World War II, you can't test human beings. But the Chinese wrote down in their Materia Medica, 5,000 fucking years ago, that people were using this stuff, and you don't see any historical references to things like teratogens. Oh, I had a kid born with, one arm. Throw him in the river and try again. Anecdotal stories were what medicine was built on. There's absolutely no record historically going back 4,000 or 5,000 years of this causing defects in children that would cause the parents to go, oh shit, we can't use this while you're pregnant. Okay, none of it. And now we have doctors afraid to fart in a room because they're going to lose their goddamn license. We can't prove it's safe. Okay, is that really the question to ask? Because I've been through pregnancies with women who gave up cannabis even though they wanted to use it because they were afraid they're going to get tested and CPS up your ass. Okay, and then you go look at the evidence like you cited, Rachelle. Melanie Dreyer went to Jamaica, followed a bunch of people, did it longitudinally. There's been more of these studies because they weren't double blinded and all that kind of shit they require. Oh, we can't really look at them. Horse shit. If you're puking your guts out, okay, and that's bad for a baby, and you take a couple of tokes and now you can actually eat something, okay, that's healthier for a child and puking your guts out and not eating. So it all gets mixed up in this, and it really is nonsensical. It's more out of fear. You can't trust what people report when saying the truth's going to get them in trouble. So, I just, it's all horseshit. And if that, I'm up to 3 horseshits today, guys. Am I going to get some money for this?
If the argument was smoking is bad, period, I would understand that, right? Like I would be like, okay, well, you would have some form of argument if he was like, smoking is bad. But then they said, well, we can't. Well, they said just now, and I know that they use this. Well, we can't prove it's safe. You can't prove that it's bad. You can't prove that it's safe, but you can't prove that it's bad. Yeah. There's nothing conclusively telling you that this is going to cause this baby harm. That you can't say that it's safe, but you can't say that it's bad either.
There's the fetal alcohol syndrome, but there's no fetal cannabis syndrome, okay?
You understand? Yeah.
So it's like, stop it. You're not seeing kids with problems from this. Well, I'm afraid it might hurt them. Yeah, okay. Well, you give women chemicals, and you go back to thalidomide, DES back in the 50s. This caused so much damage to children because they were trying to deal with the symptoms of pregnancy with a chemical.
Hey, brother, I own a private medical practice for neuropsychology. We test children with autism and other TBIs or just any developmental issues. We have never had a case come before us that's ever involved the child being harmed because of the parent using THC or cannabis.
And you never will, because if it is, they're doing something else besides taking cannabis as a medicine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was a point. My sister-in-law works for county services, and she was saying that nowadays that's a lot more of what's going on when it comes to cannabis. It used to be they were getting a lot of calls from nurses if babies were testing positive or mothers were testing positive in their prenatal appointments. Now they're looking at the bigger picture. Are there other things that are concerning them about the mother's overall behavior? Would have cannabis be just part of the equation? But as far as calls strictly for cannabis, those seem to be diminishing.
Mm-hmm. And I think this is. I think overall, I think this. I learned a lot from this. My head almost exploded, and I got a few brains. Do you have a thought on this, Stone?
Yeah, I just want to thank Rachel for bringing that to the show. I've told you guys before, as a toddler, probably wasn't the best thing with the smoke, but I used to pass joints backstage at the Grateful Dead shows. My mom smoked throughout pregnancy. I'm a 52-year-old, perfect test subject for smoking while you're pregnant. That's all I have.
Is that what's wrong with you, Stone?
What's that?
Is that what's wrong with you, Stone?
That is definitely what's wrong with me. That's what's right with me, Dale.
Oh,
Yeah, my mom liked
That's why he's so
mother
cool.
sugar and alcohol. So here's what you get from that experience, right?
Thank you so much for covering this, Rachelle. This is really interesting news. Thank you so much for bringing this up. And we're going to go to a commercial. We're going to be right back. I'm Jason Beck, and this is Smoky Vanilla. And if you want to...
The Control Tower from Highly Educated has perfected the dab. Utilizing the concept of thin film evaporation, you can waste none of it and taste all of it. The micro texture of the SE pillar increases nucleation at elevated temperatures. And with the tower propelling at 2,600 RPMs, it's certainly the most efficient dab experience to date. The Control Tower from Highly Educated.
They don't even have these discussions in medical school, guys. It's crazy.
And we're back. We're back, Dale.
Up next,
go for it, Rico.
It's the self-proclaimed most feared Black Latin man alive. The top half of his conservative artist, activist, entrepreneur's body might be the only thing currently visible, but I bet he's got a pair of those $400 gold sneakers on his feet right now. Antoine Montaga Tucker, what you got for us today, my brother?
Thank you so much. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, because somewhere around the world, it is truly what time it is. And me and the rest of my great co-hosts are happy to have you guys here and viewing. So thank you very much. And thank you to Rico, the Dawn of Dawns, the dopest dad alive, for giving me such a great introduction. I love you more. Arkansas Attorney General signs off on a proposal ballot measure to expand medical cannabis access. And to the viewers out there who complained about my reading, I had horrible glasses, astigmatism. I went and spent thousands of dollars on these frames just so I can read for you. How about that? Okay. A little Arkansas, the state's attorney general has given the go-ahead to a ballot initiative effort to expand the state's medical cannabis law. On Tuesday, Attorney General Tim Griffin approved the ballot title language for a proposed citizens initiative, the Arkansas Medical Marijuana Amendment of 2024. He had previously rejected an earlier version of the amendment, opinioning that the language was ambiguous. The proposed amendment improves existing law by expanding the pool of practitioners who may recommend medical cannabis and by increasing the total number of qualifying conditions for patients. It also allows patients to receive physicians' recommendations via telehealth appointments and expands patients' registrations in the program from 1 year to 3 years, among other modifications. Separate provisions in the amendment authorizing adults to legally possess up to 1 ounce of cannabis if the federal government deschedules it from the Controlled Substance Act. Backers of the amendment, Arkansas for Patients Access, must collect over 9,704 signatures for registration for registered voters by July 5th, 2024 to qualify for its November's ballot. Arkansas voters passed a ballot measure in 2016 to establish the state's medical marijuana program. However, patients were not able to begin accessing medical cannabis products until mid-2019. Currently, just under 100,000 residents are registered with the program. For the full report, please make sure you hit the information that we leave for you guys. And for everyone watching, please tell me what you guys think about tell me what you think about what's going on. And for everyone here on the panel, tell me what you guys think.
Man, oh man. Arkansas. I mean, it seems like they're starting to evolve a little bit. This is the DA saying, "Hey, you know what? Cool. Let's see what the people have to say."
It's a slow roll, but it's
some growth.
Arkansas.
Is it growth or is it a setup? Is it a setup? That's the question. Is he setting everyone up for failure?
I think it's what Huckabee Sanders has to do on this one, man. Take the heat off. Take that microscope off of that the podium scandal. You know what I'm saying? That she's been going through right there. Let it pass, Sarah Huckabee. Maybe I don't think
that she would be able to kind of stop it, since they've already had something similar passing, and now this would just create, just a little bit. It would just kind of fix it a little bit better. But if she does, then she would join the rest of the so-called conservative American patriots who are ignoring the people within their constituencies that they just figure that they're smarter than.
Right. You can't. Yeah, you definitely can't. You can't call yourself a real freedom fighter if you're trying to prohibit against cannabis. That's for sure. That's for sure. They have another word for those. They're called rhinos. Republican in name only.
I mean, Jason, you're supposed to be the party of law and order, right?
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
Exactly. You're led by a man who stands against everything that law and order is all about. So, I mean, I don't.
No, I'm not. I'm about the good laws, just not the ones that absolutely make no sense and impede people's freedoms.
I say we just take away the labels off of everybody and just let them speak their mind and let the best rise to the top. How about that?
I agree. I agree.
I'm all good with the best rising to the top. I don't have a problem with that. But, you ready? You ready?
Yeah. I don't really have faith in this ballot. Yeah, I don't really have faith in this ballot measure at all. But I'll just say that.
No faith. No faith.
No faith at all. So bringing us home today, it's the man that I share that Delta 8 rooftop shame with. Coming out the great purple state of Texas, Austin's very own fellow dope father, the man who is running the game and left the streets to hit the high road a couple years ago, and he ain't stopped yet. Coming to the stage, Stone Slade. Give me the round of applause, y'all. There we go.
Thank you, Rico. Thank you, everybody. Good morning, welcome, and good afternoon. Welcome to the High 9 News. Today, I'm taking us to Idaho, where Republican lawmakers are seemingly swimming against the current of cannabis reform. A bill by Representative Bruce Skog is being reconsidered. It's a bill that failed the first go-around, but now has a cute little addition, a mandatory $420 fine to anyone caught with small amounts of cannabis. Now, while 4 out of the 6 states that border Idaho have embraced either medical or adult use cannabis, Idaho's doubling down on prohibition. This new bill, House Bill 606, introduced by Republican Representative Bruce Skog, aims to enforce a minimum fine for possessing less than 3 ounces of cannabis. As I mentioned, this bill replaces Skog's earlier attempt with House Bill 559. It's not hard to smirk at the irony here. This $420 fine is a clear nod to the cannabis culture. Was presented by Representative Skog with several cannabis-related puns during the committee meeting. He even mentioned smoking out the problems in his last bill and consulting with his assistant, Jane. Now, one can't help but wonder if Representative Skog thinks he's being funny or just making a statement. Either way, it seems right on par for a state so deeply rooted in anti-cannabis sentiment. It's worth noting that Idaho is surrounded by states that have legalized or decriminalized cannabis in some form. Utah, Washington, Oregon, Montana, and Nevada have all taken steps forward, leaving Idaho and Wyoming isolated on anti-cannabis island. Earlier this month, our own correspondent, Elise McRoberts, reported on Idaho lawmakers' butthole-puckering reaction to cannabis advertisements near their borders with legal states. They quickly introduced a bill to ban advertising in their state for what they still deemed illegal products. It seems Idaho's approach to cannabis is less about public health and more with sticking to an outdated playbook. Now, House Bill 606 has only gone through an introductory hearing so far, which means no public testimony yet. But introducing the bill clears the way for it to return to the House State Affairs Committee for a full public hearing. During Tuesday's meeting, House State Affairs Committee Chairman Brent Crane told legislators in an effort to move the 2024 legislative session along that legislators will likely need permission from the Republican House leaders to introduce any new bills today, Thursday today. So while deadlines approaching to introduce new bills, it's clear that this session could see some heated debates. As I wrap this up, it's not hard to see, like I said, the irony perhaps misplaced in Idaho's legislative efforts. In a time when most of the country is progressing with cannabis reform, Idaho seems intent on digging its heels deeper into prohibition. And with Representative Skog being Mr. Punny Guy during the presentation, you got to ask whether lawmakers in Idaho really understand the seriousness of this issue. It's almost as if, and I've said this before, the only thing addictive about cannabis in Idaho and other pockets of prohibition is the prohibition itself, used as a tool for incarceration, fines, or hall pass to invade your rights that some lawmakers are struggling with letting go. We'll be sure to keep you guys updated on this developing story. I'm Stone Slade. Thank you for getting High at 9 with me.
Maybe if these Idaho lawmakers smoked a little weed themselves, or push legalization forward, their puns would actually hit harder, and their jokes would be fucking funny.
Yep.
This is not funny at all, and they need to be voted out. Period.
You know what this goes to, and he touched on it, and I kind of touched on it earlier. But let's just and I know Dale will be able to really agree. Since there are so many other states in and around Idaho that have legalized it, Idaho is thinking, look, not only do we get to violate people's rights by saying we smell something we don't smell, or just using it as a precursor to violate someone's rights, but also now we're going to get a ton of money from our prison industrial complex, because we know we have people who are going to other states who are going to come right back home and return to us, who is going to have it. And who do you think they're going to be hitting with $400 fines? Rich people? Absolutely not. And what rich person cares? This is $400 is lunch. Do you know what I mean? So for someone who really needs $400, that's a car note. That's a quarter of their rent or half of their rent payment. Like, they need that. So they're going to be going after the poorest folks in Idaho. You can guess what group of people that is. This is the reason why I'm disgusted with both sides. This is a uniparty of people who are just lying to us and actually just ignoring the people that they're supposed to be working for. I think that people are getting elected and forgetting that they're supposed to be serving the people that elected them. They're getting elected and they're feeling like somehow they become the absolute rulers of people's lives.
Yep, very true. Very, very true. I do think it's cute that they decided to use $420 instead of like $500 or $1,000 or some other higher number. I do. Yeah. I can appreciate.
Wait till they find out that it cost them $550 to collect the $420 fine. That's the shit that drives me crazy. Is they put these nonsensical prohibitionary rules in place, and we're going to stop this. But it's costing you more to enforce this bullshit than what you actually get from the fines, and you're punishing the wrong people. It's just it's a meat grinder, and you have people in positions of authority. Oh, we got to ask the permission of the Republican Party. What the fuck does that mean? Who do you got to go bow to get permission to put a ballot measure out or put something on the floor that the people are going, hey, we want it, we want it, we want it. It's I've got a lot of conservative friends who are prohibitionists when you ask them how they want to handle this. It's like, you motherfuckers, you pissed and moaned about all those people reining you in with taxes and regulations when you were trying to have a business. Now, people are trying to open a business. Like you're doing the same goddamn thing these knuckleheads on the left did. Let's tax and regulate everything I don't like I'm your fucking mommy, and wrap you all up in bubble wrap. It drives me crazy. Get your head out of your ass.
Get your head out of your ass.
I love Uncle Dale. I swear to God, I love Uncle Dale.
Yo Loco. That's my handle, guy. I think I'm going to brand
Yo Loco. This is Dave.
Dia de las Huertas. Let's build on that.
Yes, indeed.
Can't control shit, so let's just be happy with life. How about that?
Let's be free. More freedom. I think we can all agree on that. And on that note, I want to thank you all for joining us for yet another episode of High at 9 News. You can catch us live weekdays, 9 a.m. Pacific, high noon on the East Coast. Big shout out to our super fans showing love, getting their comments posted live on the big screen, our live audience and online supporters catching us across all media platforms, tuning in each day to the headlines of chaos, also known as the developing cannabis industry. To our vetted correspondent team tuning in from all over, bringing us much needed variety of perspective and your respected opinions to the table. To our production team, Cloud Media Partners, all the sponsors keeping our lights on and our AV struggles to a minimum. Demetrius holding us down back behind the scenes. Is Adam still with us? Where is Adam?
Yeah, Adam will be here tomorrow as long as he's feeling better. Adam got sick yesterday. He had a bad sore throat. Yeah.
Oh man, like a feather in the wind.
No, like amoxicillin and condoms.
Yep. Yeah,
it'll be okay.
Cheap dip.
You better, Adam. As always, Cannabis Sativa L, the reason the High 9 News team reads these headlines daily. Thank you, too. It has been Thursday, February 22nd, 2024. The show's over. You all been blessed with the top industry headlines. Hope it was enough for you to put in your pipe and smoke at least until tomorrow. And my name is Rico Lamitte, the dopest dad on the street for High 9 News, cannabis industry's #1 daily news show. Today, we're going to give it to Montaga. What you got for us, man? Take us out.
I just want to say to everyone out there right now, from the bottom of our hearts, we appreciate you deeply. And we have great surprises coming to you guys, and we plan to expand High at 9 News to the lights message, which we've never thought was possible. And we want to thank every single last one of you guys out there that continues to support us, that continues to leave the comments. It gives us hope, and it keeps us bringing all of this great content to you. So God bless every single last one of you, and make sure today you make the best of it. Peace.
Thank you all for getting high at 9 with us.